Be the moderator for this session, and I'm very pleased to welcome you here. It is 1 o'clock in the Eastern Time Zone of the United States. It's time to get started. And this is the Master's Degree Virtual Information Session, and we're very glad to have you join us. I know that there's others that are joining us, and we'll be admitting them as we go along here. Here's the agenda we'll be following today. I'm going to do a little bit of talking at the beginning and then turn the floor over to our faculty presenters who will each in turn discuss programs under their wing. We'll look first at 7 reasons to consider capital. Why look at us in the first place, regardless of the degree? What makes us special? Then we'll take an overview, quick look at all of the master's degrees and certificates, and then we'll drill down to where each faculty member will talk a little bit about the degrees that are in their discipline. Then we'll come back after the faculty conclude and we'll talk about some very important questions having to do with the application procedure, what's involved with the programs, the tuition, financial aid, the next steps that you need to take, and finally we'll open the floor to questions. Now, speaking of that, I noticed that Dr. Butler has asked Anbu what program you're interested in. If you are joining us as a guest, I would appreciate if you would type into the text chat the specific degree or degrees that you are looking at. This will help us frame the conversation a little bit. And also we want to encourage you to ask questions as we go. This is not just talking heads, this is a dialogue, and we look forward to the opportunity for you to ask questions. If you want to ask your question in the text chat, just go ahead and do that. If you want to ask your question verbally, just let us know in the text chat and I will turn on your mic for you. With that, let's go ahead and get started. 7 reasons to consider capital. You could read these for yourself, but let me just cover the highlights on a few of them. Our degrees are online, but that does not mean that the quality is not there. It's a very high quality program, but we have reduced the program to its essential elements in the sense that we have put everything online and there's no need for you to come to the campus. There's no residency requirement for most of our programs. Some of our degrees are synchronous. Most of them are asynchronous. We'll talk more about that when the faculty talk about each one. We're very student-centered. We're a small institution and the faculty will get to know you by name. We have a vibrant and growing international alumni network, and that's very important when it goes to finding a career because there'll be somebody out there in your field that can assist you who's already led the way. We use faculty from literally all over the world and including those here in the Washington, D.C. area. The courses are taught by our leading experts. We search out the best experts in the field to teach these courses. Most of our students are also working full-time. This is important because you're not an anomaly. This is how we roll. We will be looking to work with you, knowing that you have a busy work schedule, a life in addition to your studies. We're nonprofit. We're private and we're accredited. I'll come back and talk a little bit more about the accreditation, which is a very important part of who we are, and we're award-winning. Let's talk just very briefly about this accreditation portion of things. We're accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. This is the highest level of accreditation available to any school in the middle part of the United States. Regional accreditation is the top level of accreditation in the United States, and all of the major universities would have the same level of accreditation as we do. We're also authorized by the state of Maryland to offer degrees all the way from associate's level right up to the Doctor of Science and PhD programs, including all of our master's degrees. We're award-winning, and for those of you that are interested in cyber, we were recognized earlier in the year as having the best cybersecurity higher education program in the country. We're also ranked #1 in the national list of programs for master's degree programs, and our aviation programs have been recognized by the Royal Aeronautical Society, the oldest aeronautics and aeronautical aviation related organization in the world. We are educating, when a little bit later, when we talk about cyber, we'll talk more about this, so I won't go into great detail about it, but we're educational partners with the National Defense University, the Institute, the IEEE, the National Cryptologic School, and the Maryland National Guard. We are a Center for Cybersecurity Research and Analysis. We're a post 9/11 GI friendly, military friendly school. We've been at this for a long, long time, since 1927, and we've developed a lot of programs that are cutting edge. We were the first one to offer a graduate degree in network security, now cybersecurity, and the first one to offer that degree online. And as you can see, we'll talk more about some of our cyber accomplishments in just a little bit. But we have many programs to help you succeed in your career. Our programs are laid out just a little bit differently from a traditional school. We offer 3 semesters, fall, spring, and summer, and within each semester there are 2 8-week terms. So the semester is 16 weeks, but we have term 1 and term 2. In a master's degree, you can actually start in any term, so therefore you're never more than 8 weeks away from starting your program. Most of our programs are asynchronous, which means they're not tied to a specific time during the day. You will take classes when you want to. You will have weekly assignments, of course, but you can do those assignments when it is convenient to you rather than on a set schedule. This is an overview of all of our programs, and I'm not going to go through the list because we're going to cover them in detail. I do want to mention that they cover the gamut from aviation and business through computer science into cybersecurity and many more. And also at the very end, we'll talk just a little bit about our combination master's degree and PhD program in technology. We'll circle back to that one in a little bit later. We offer 6 post-baccalaureate certificates, so if you're not interested in a master's degree or a PhD with us, but you want to pick up graduate level training, we offer them in these 6 areas. To learn more about these, we won't cover these in detail today, but to learn more about these, you can visit our website or talk to one of our faculty, primarily in the information security, cybersecurity world. With that, we will start with our faculty presenters, and we'll go pretty much in the order that they're listed here. And so I want to start with Dr. William Butler. Dr. Butler can go ahead. He's ready, he's queued up, and I will let him begin.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Bill Butler, and I'm chair of the cybersecurity program here at Capitol. These are our 2 master's degrees, the 2 main master's degrees in cybersecurity. Master of Science in Cybersecurity and the Master of Science in Cyber Analytics. Next slide, Bill. As the prior slide showed, we've been a center of academic excellence in cyber defense education since 2003, one of the earlier programs to go through that process, which means that Department of Homeland Security and NSA have looked at our curriculum, and they've certified it as a curriculum that will produce graduates that they would hire. We are one of almost 400 schools in the nation. About 5%, only 5% of cybersecurity programs are actually CAEs in the country. Now, how do we do that? It's a 36 to 39 credit program. 2 options: one for the career cybersecurity professional, and a track for what are considered career changes, those who are transitioning from related fields or even from outside of IT. We have a track that can get you the Master of Science in Cybersecurity and launch you on your career. Our faculty come from industry. We have faculty working for companies like Mandiant, Symantec, some employees of DoD that are employed in cyber. Another strength of the program is that your classmates are working cybersecurity professionals. The relationships that you build there and the networking will help you. As you know, cybersecurity is a team sport. Can't do it alone. So building your network of professors and fellow classmates help you. One of the edges that we have is we teach adversarial thinking. We teach you how to think like the adversary. You can't do great cyber defense unless you're thinking Offensively, what would you do if you were the adversary? That's what we teach in all our classes, and you come away with that soft skill, as it will, to differentiate you from your competitors. We also employ the NIST risk management framework. This is the framework that's required by the federal government to assess risk. A lot of the private sector also use it, so you'll come away with a cutting edge way to address risk, no matter where you work. We're fully mapped to the CAE standard. We're also fully mapped to the 8 CISSP domains. The CISSP is the gold standard in our industry for certifications, and we prepare you to sit for that exam at the end of the master's program. And listed here are some of the roles that you can take on and some of the mid-range salaries that cybersecurity analyst, cybersecurity consultant, pen tester seems to be a very popular one these days, with red teamers taking the adversary role, cybersecurity managers, those again who run cybersecurity programs at their company, continuously assessing risk and proposing countermeasures. Cybersecurity engineers actually create countermeasures. And then the cybersecurity architect working with the CCIEs of the world and others who design entire networks. Next slide, Bill. And as we said, it's a 36 credit program, 12 courses, 8 are core. This is the Masters of Cyber Analytics. Sorry about that. We decided that, and this is an input that we got from our advisory board, that now that we have sensors almost everywhere, we are being drowned in data that we need to analyze to determine if there are indicators of compromise, or that basically, are you under attack or have you been attacked? We've found that we've got to employ a lot of the tools that are used in data analysis and even data science we've had to bring into our discipline. So this degree was in response to that. So the 8 core courses, still cybersecurity, but there are an additional 4 cyber analytics courses. Our design is, when you walk away from this degree, you can work as a cybersecurity analyst, or as a data analyst, or even a SOC analyst working in a security operations center, using some of the tools that we laid out there. Next slide, Bill. And this is my contact information. If anyone here has further questions about any of the cybersecurity degrees at Capital, please don't hesitate to get in contact with me. And thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Dr. Butler. Now we go to Dr. Richard Baker.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Richard Baker. I'm the director of the master's programs at Capital Technology, and I work with each of the respective department chairs to provide you with the best possible master's degrees available. We have 3 excellent degree programs in the area of business administration, which I'll talk about first, and they are the Master of Business Administration, the traditional MBA, and 2 technical Masters of Business Administration, TMBAs. One is in business analytics and data science, and the other is in cybersecurity. Next slide, please. Okay, this one is the first degree, the Master of Business Administration, a traditional MBA that everyone knows, and it supports professionals who are seeking to apply for senior management and leadership positions in industry or in the government. We are accredited by the International Assembly for Collegiate Business Education, the IACBE, and it provides a practical, broad-based education in management and requires completion of 36 to 39 credits. The focus of the coursework and the educational program is to develop leadership skills and enhance your understanding of technology and technology innovation in business. And we use case studies and research projects so that you learn about opportunities with real world experiences, so that when you graduate, you'll have a full understanding of how the MBA actually impacts a business. The program is flexible and allows you to tailor the courses to meet your professional needs or to follow a predefined concentration. And core topics you'll study in the MBA include things like financial management, contract management, organizational behavior, marketing processes and strategy, personnel management, strategic management. And as I said earlier, the degree requires completion of 39 credits. If you have either a recent undergraduate business degree, that means completed within the past 5 years, or relevant professional experience, you may have the MBA 600 for 3 credits waived and complete the degree in 36 credits. Next slide, Bill. The 3 elective courses may be taken from a list of department approved specializations that are listed here, and each specialization contains 3 courses that give you a chance to explore and learn about that industry while getting your MBA. We talked today about each of the respective master's degree programs that contain these specializations. And Dr. Butler has already covered the MS in cybersecurity and the MS in cyber analytics. In addition, you may choose any 3 courses from the master's degrees as long as they're approved by the director of master's programs, myself. And this approach provides you a unique opportunity to start your subject matter expertise early and sets Capital apart from other universities and allowing you to do that. Next slide, Bill. The next 2 degrees I'm going to talk about are the Technical Master of Business Administration in Business Analytics and Data Sciences, and the one in Cybersecurity. Both degrees follow a course set of the traditional MBA business courses and require completion of 36 credits, 39 if you don't qualify for the MBA 600 waiver. And the difference in the MBA and the TMBA is less focus on the marketing process and high-level strategy, and a replaced focus on the impact of emerging technologies and either data science and cybersecurity for the appropriate degree. And we feel these degrees prepare you to be a professional for tomorrow's management positions and to contribute effectively in today's technology-enabled workplace by understanding how to leverage the processes and the systems and the data to create business value. And example job titles that you'll get into upper, middle, or upper management as you get there will be Chief Executive Officer, like a CEO, Chief Operations Officer as a COO, maybe even a Chief Information Officer as a CIO, or as an information manager, a data analyst, a data scientist, or a cybersecurity manager or administrator. And the salaries range in the mid-career term from anywhere from $90,000 to $150,000 for these job titles. Next slide, please, Bill. Now I'm going to talk about 2 excellent degree programs in the area of aviation. These are the Master of Science in Aviation and the Master of Science in Aviation Cybersecurity, which is a new and broadening field of critical importance. Next slide, please. First, the Master of Science in Aviation degree program is designed to meet the growing needs of today's businesses and government environments where aviation is a major business consideration, and this degree requires completion of 36 credits. Throughout this program, you'll be introduced to latest technology developments, applications, and considerations in the aviation industry and how they are applied to real-life industry challenges. It prepares you for advanced management and leadership positions throughout the aviation industry and related businesses and governmental agencies that use aviation as part of their organization. Aviation professionals may work for an airline. You may manage airports. You may hold a higher level positions in the airport security, or work in the Federal Aviation Administration, or even inspect and evaluate aircraft. And in these positions, aviation managers are often responsible for managing budgets, employment, marketing, and other administrative duties, which are all essential to the success of an airline or an aviation business. Example job titles you will have or run into are airline operations manager or officer, chief of operations, air traffic manager, a fleet manager, an airport manager, aviation planning consultant, and many, many more. And the salaries range in the midterm from anywhere from $85,000 to $145,000, depending on whether you're working for a corporation as an airline or in a government agency or somewhere else. Next slide, please. And the Master of Science in Aviation Cybersecurity. Again, this degree is for a new and exciting field that's critically important in the aviation industry and to everyone that has anything to do with aviation. This degree requires completion of 36 credits, and you gain the ability to integrate business and decision-making skills in the complex aviation, cyber, security, and business environments. In this program, you will learn to apply cutting-edge skills in cybersecurity, management, and technology that relate to everyday work situations in the global industry of aviation. And graduates interested in a career in the aviation cybersecurity may choose from a wide variety of job titles. The term aviation cybersecurity refers to a number of managerial roles in the world of aviation, and the titles and salaries align much the same as the MS in cybersecurity that Dr. Butler talked about, but they're focused on aviation. And aviation cybersecurity specialists may work again in the information and security aspects of airports or the FAA traffic control centers and towers, airline information security, financial data, or even in the handling and security of aircraft data that are both airborne and on the ground, ticketing, scheduling, many, many more. Anywhere that data, computers, networks, and information technology are used. And this is one of the most exciting and rapidly expanding fields in the world. Next slide, Bill. Okay, the Master of Science in Unmanned and Autonomous Systems Policy and Risk Management. In contrast to many universities, our Master of Science in Unmanned and Autonomous Systems Policy and Risk Management degree does not focus solely on aerial systems. We feel it's important to be knowledgeable for all domains where unmanned and autonomous systems are used, which are air, ground, water, and space. And our degree covers the important aspects of each one. And this degree requires completion of 33 credits. Next slide, Bill. The degree program is designed to meet the growing needs of today's business and government environments, where unmanned systems are now becoming embedded in business everywhere. All kinds of mobile vehicles are being used throughout the world. And it provides an advanced graduate level management education where the latest unmanned systems concepts are studied and analyzed with an intense focus. The program covers the latest technological developments and applications and practices in the unmanned systems industry and how they are applied to real life industry challenges and business. You will learn about risks and risk mitigation in the areas of autonomy and unmanned or driverless vehicles of all kinds, and the gathering, the storing, transmission, and processing of data, and risks associated with privacy and sensitivity are covered in the sensors and data courses. And applications where unmanned and autonomous systems are used include things like agriculture, construction, passenger transport, cargo transport, filmmaking, conservation, journalism, law enforcement, search and rescue, inspections, surveying, military applications, and many more. And the area of safety is integrated into the operations and applications while you learn about the laws, the regulations, and policies associated with unmanned and autonomous systems at the federal, state, and local levels. And individuals interested in a career in unmanned and autonomous systems may choose from a wide variety of titles, and graduates may enter the field in areas of operators, flyers, drivers, sensor operators, data analysts, data scientists, maintainers, etc. Job titles and are examples are UAS Fleet Operations Director, Operator or Remote Pilot, a Director of Safety, Fleet Manager, Systems Manager, or a Data Analyst or a Scientist. And the salaries range, again, the midterm from anywhere from 75,000 to 125,000. And this degree prepares you to become an effective manager of a single unmanned system and run a business, or an expanded fleet of unmanned systems. The world is wide open and it's up to you. Next slide, please, Bill. Okay, this is my contact information, and anyone has any questions, please reach out to me. I'll be glad to answer them at any time. And let's see, did we get any questions here?
Yeah,
in the
yes,
chat?
we actually did. Lisa says, could you tell us a little bit more about the federal contracting and acquisition track that would be in the traditional MBA?
The federal acquisition and contracting is covered by individuals who actually work in the government now. There are adjunct professors. They're very experienced and they have a tremendous background to be able to bring the real world to you. There are three courses to take for that federal contracting and acquisition track. It's not on the list, but it should be. We've just found out that it's been around for a year. We dropped it out off by accident, and we're putting it back. It's back in the catalog, and it is on our website. So it is there, and we do support it, and it provides a tremendous background for you. As a matter of fact, just a quick aside, one of our graduates who has that has become a senior manager in the contracting in the government, U.S. government, and she has said that that has been key to her success in the U.S. government contracting. So it's a great opportunity.
Thank you very much for that, and we will make sure it gets added to this slide as well. But thank you, Lisa, so much for asking that question. And let me repeat for those guests joining us, at any point, just simply mention that you, in the text chat, that you have a question. You can, if you want to have the floor and ask it yourself with the microphone, let me know, and I'll enable mics for you. Otherwise, we'll answer it in the text chat at the conclusion of each one of the faculty presenters. We'll also circle back at the end for you to get questions that you missed the first time around. With that, let's go on now to Dr. Linda Martin, who will talk about the MS in Construction Cybersecurity.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Linda Martin, and I'm going to start talking about one of the two programs that I will be talking about today, the MS in Construction Cybersecurity, which is 30 to 36 credits. This degree program is designed to meet the growing needs of today's business and government, where construction cybersecurity is a major concern. This degree provides advanced graduate level management education for the latest construction cybersecurity concepts. Occupational health and safety professionals often become drawn into construction cybersecurity concerns when they are on construction sites, where there's a lot of remote operations that need to be tied together by IT or cybersecurity methods. And construction cybersecurity is a growing field in that aspect. Students learn to define optimal methods and techniques for construction cybersecurity and how to work together with projects teams, either in operational settings or on construction sites. Things that you may be tasked to do with this degree could be a director of cybersecurity, director of construction cybersecurity operations, any kind of construction cybersecurity consultant, which many construction firms need at the mid-level, or work in a big firm as somebody who ties all of the means and methods and information technology together across the world. Salary ranges for this position or these positions that I've talked about could range anywhere from 80 or 85,000 to 150,000, depending on the type and size of the company and the type of global operations that they do. I covered that. So let's talk about the MS in construction safety. I have a rich background in safety altogether, occupational safety. Our MS in construction safety program was built around the blueprint for the Board of Certified Safety Professionals Graduate Safety Practitioner Program, which if you're in the safety and occupational safety and construction safety field, allows you to move toward the Certified Safety Professional exam and skip one of the exams based on the vetting of our curriculum against that blueprint. So the construction safety program covers means and methods, mathematics, specific situations that apply to construction settings. This degree is a good degree for somebody who's in occupational health and safety, no matter what their undergraduate degree is in, whether it's occupational safety or something else, for people who are working or want to work in the construction field and they want to have some construction specific safety schooling. This program is 36 credits. As I said, the courses within the program are meant to meet that blueprint so that we can get the Board of Certified Safety Professionals to give you the Graduate Safety Practitioner at the end of the program. That was recently approved. And anybody entering the program under the current curriculum will be eligible on completing the 36 credits. Some of the occupation titles that you can see in this course would be Regional Safety Manager, Compliance Manager, Construction Safety Manager, Director of Corporate Safety for construction firms. The sky's the limit when building is concerned, as many of these construction firms that are ramping up operations are global in nature. So the salaries, again, can range anywhere from $85,000 to $150,000 or $200,000, depending on the size of the company and the number of sites that you're tasked with overseeing. Next slide. This is my contact information, and I'd love to speak to anybody here today that wants to talk about safety, construction safety, or construction cybersecurity. Please let me know.
Thank you so much, Dr. Martin. And now we go to the next Dr. Martin, no relation to him, except they're good friends, I think. And he will be talking about first the MS in critical infrastructure.
Yes, thank you very much, Bill. You know, I want to start off by saying, you know, that according to the National Infrastructure Protection Plan, every nation has an obligation to protect essential functions from 5 main threats. And I will go over those really quick. Terrorism. We all understand the threat of international terrorism. The FBI here in the United States have said that we have an increase in domestic terrorism. Now, for our critical infrastructure, that's very important. The cyber threat. We all know about the cyber threat by state actors and hackers and all of that thing. So our critical infrastructure is very, very subject to that. National disasters. I live in Louisiana, and for the last, let's say 6 months, we've had an onslaught of natural disasters, starting with the hurricanes. In the Western United States, we've had some fires, and we're still having the fires. Now, what does that do to your critical infrastructure? It does a lot. And the final one is pandemic. Well, it's not the final one. The accidents, of course, that's a big oops. You know, some of the folks, you know, they're accidents, and we have to investigate those. But the final one is the pandemic. We now have an acute awareness of how a pandemic will adversely affect our way of life. And that's very important. Next slide. Okay. Our critical infrastructure program in the United States is kind of broken up as you see here. There's 16 sectors. And basically a lot of our instruction goes off of these 16 sectors. However, there is an international component that we do cover in many of our courses. I think it's important to understand that 9 of these 16 sectors have a very extensive cybersecurity annex to the sector specific plan of that sector. So we actually are working to kind of integrate that within our program. Next slide. You know, as we move towards all kinds of things, you know, critical infrastructure, you see here in this diagram, it's a depiction of a city. We're rapidly becoming into smart cities where we have a lot of interdependencies among the sectors. You see here roadways, airports, trains, parks, university, hospitals, on and on and on. We do have a very tight nexus between all of these various sectors. And a lot of people didn't realize that, you know, a stadium, sports stadium could be critical infrastructure. But when you have like 50,000 people in one spot, and if something happens, there's a lot of preparation for that. Next slide. When we look at it, we're looking at critical infrastructure. And I would like to direct your attention to, you know, to the job titles and salaries. This whole area of critical infrastructure, we're finding, especially down here in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast and Florida, that we have an acute need for resilient systems directors. That is resilient. How do we recover? How do we prepare our critical infrastructure to withstand one of the 5 threats that I talked about? There's an increasing need for that. The directors of corporate planning and analysis, that's also is something that we have an acute awareness of. And so as we look at this critical infrastructure area, we have to investigate what's going on. And as we experience this, there's evolving information, data, and research connected with the critical infrastructure program. Next slide. This is my information. I have office hours on Thursdays between 7 and 10 p.m. You know, Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to contact me. That's my email, and I'll respond, and we'll set up an appointment where we can talk about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Dr. Martin. And now we will move on to the Master of Engineering Technology with Dr. Chandra Bachracharya. I knew that I would butcher that. I'm so sorry, Chandra. Please correct that last name for me.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chandra Bachracharya, and I am a faculty in Electrical Engineering Department, and today I'm here to give you an overview of our Masters in Engineering Technology program. So our Masters in Engineering Technology program, if we look at the job market trend, we have seen that the number of graduate level postings have increased about 40% since 2014. And if we look at the trend of these job openings, we see that the leadership roles that are put out in the technology-based industries, they not only require skills in the development of technical products, but also skills in the management of technical products. So our MS in Engineering Technology at Capital Technology University is designed to be an interdisciplinary curriculum where it combines the engineering focus with the core business and management knowledge. So it's an interdisciplinary curriculum that acts as a gateway to the upper level technical or specialist management kind of positions. If we look at the organization of this course or the degree focus, as the slide shows you, that the completion of this degree requires 30 credits. And if you have a bachelor's degree in engineering technology or electrical engineering or any related field. If you have an accredited bachelor's degree, you can apply for master's in engineering technology. And it takes 30 credits to complete this course. And out of these 30 credits, we have 18 credits of required course. And the required courses are, the degree focus is, again, as I said, the interdisciplinary nature. So we have a focus on technical aspect as well as a focus on the management aspect. So in the required courses, one part of the courses are there, the technical courses, to enhance your statistical, quantitative, and technical expertise that are required in the design and development part. And you can see courses like mathematical analysis, design courses like design for reliability, design for manufacturing, design for testability. So these are the courses that give you technical expertise. On the other hand, in the required courses, we also have courses that are designed to give you valuable business skills like management, decision-making, how do you formulate strategies, supply chain management. So these kind of courses, and you can see courses like professional management and so on. So in addition to that, there are courses that will familiarize you with governmental or industry regulations, international standards. So we have combination of courses to give you the core knowledge, and that is 18 credits. In addition to that, you can also tailor your degree to include specific courses that you are interested in. And in our electives, you can take management level courses like financial management, organizational behavior, technical personnel management. So these courses you can take as an elective, or you can choose to move towards like security type of courses, security risk management, or even cybersecurity. So you can tailor your degree to include specific courses that you are interested in. In addition to that, the Masters in Engineering Technology course also has a research project. That is our capstone project, where the students will work with advisors to work on an area of interest to come up with a research project or a technical project that they want to work with. So next slide. And all classes are offered in 8-week format. And I think I covered this, that the engineering technology is a rapidly growing field with 13% projected growth. And you can see the salaries and the corresponding jobs, like you can go for engineering technologist, engineering specialist. So these are, again, mid and upper level management roles that you can plan for. So that's the overall, that's the overview of the engineering technology program. And a lot of the information is also available on our website. And in addition to that, if you have any questions regarding the program and regarding the course or anything else, please feel free to contact me. My email address and the phone number is given on this slide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I appreciate that. We will now move on to the final faculty presenter, who is Dr. Robert Steele, and talk about the Master of Science in Computer Science.
Thank you, Bill, and good afternoon all. I am the Chair of Computer Science at Capital Tech. I'll speak specifically about this program, the MS in Computer Science. If you could move to the next slide. So, what I'll do is I'll talk about, I think the fairly outstanding job opportunities in this area, and maybe work back to explain how, how the university closes the gap from these fairly outstanding opportunities to what that means for the students coming into the program. So, if you look at any job board at the moment listing the top jobs, whether it's Glassdoor, Indeed, Forbes, you will notice that around, maybe half of the top 10 or slightly more of that of the top 20 are kind of computer science based roles. So there is a lot going on and a lot of kind of facets of this field. Kind of a sub aspect of that is what we might call, there is currently a jobs boom in artificial intelligence as well. So I'll explain a little bit about the relationship there, but these are the sort of factors that are very useful, I think, for future students to think about. What is the underlying dynamic driving jobs growth? Is it going to be there in 1 year? Is it going to be 2 years? Is it going to, blossom over 10 years? And I think there's a lot happening in this particular space. So, these are the sorts of roles that you can take up as a graduate of the MS in computer science. So we list there the first one, machine learning engineer. It's a term that some may or may not be familiar with, but it's fairly much synonymous with an artificial intelligence engineer. Those salaries there are actually a little bit dated, Bill, and I will update these slides. The current data we have on that is around 146,000 is the average pay for a machine learning engineer. And these high salaries represent, they represent the shortage of supply for the demand. It requires a particularly skilled individual to do these jobs, and there's not a lot of them. Software engineer, this is a term, a role that is probably more familiar to all. This is, in general, coding, being able to code, be able to build large software systems. Almost essentially every sector needs this, maybe almost every company needs people with these, every organization needs people with these skills. It's also a very well rewarded career path, and additionally, its breadth of numbers in the job sector is possibly higher than any of these other opportunities. Data scientist, data scientist is a term that's many of you will have heard of. It's been famously rated as the sexiest job of the 21st century by Harvard Business Review. It's been ranked as the best job in the nation 4 years in a row by Forbes. So what is it? Basically, it's like a machine learning engineer. You need to be able to apply machine learning and data mining for given business problems, given company or sectoral questions at hand. Again, what are we doing with the machine learning and this data science? There's many things that can be done. In general, it can include such things as predicting what is going to happen going into the future, particular outcomes of interest, being able to classify things automatically, image classification and so forth. But there's a lot of demand. It's got a lot of emerging facets. Data engineer, it turns out as we wish to apply machine learning to all of these big data sets, there's a big preliminary task, which is how do we marshal all the data? How do we aggregate it? This is a highly rewarded career path on its own. So if you're just somebody who likes the nuts and bolts of data and combined with software, data engineer is a good pathway. Software engineering manager is essentially a senior software engineer, and we see enterprise architect here, which is somebody who understands both the software and hardware and overall organizational requirements for IT systems. Another role which is not in this list here is something called a computer vision engineer. So this is very exotic, maybe. The current average salary for that is around 156,000. So it's even higher. But interestingly, the skills you need for computer vision engineer are very, very similar to artificial intelligence engineer. You're using very similar underlying capabilities. Bill, would you be able to move on to the next slide there? Thank you. So that's the field. I think it's almost unparalleled in the current job opportunities that arise. So how do we, bring students into the program and have them take advantage of some of these incredible opportunities? Well, we're putting together, and we have put together already, a very nice industry advisory board. This includes people from such organizations as Google. In fact, a graduate recruiter from Google, somebody whose task it is to look for people with AI and computer science skills coming out of the master's program. We also have representation from the Department of Defense Joint AI Center. Okay, so you may or may not be aware, but the military is looking at how to utilize artificial intelligence in military affairs, and this is something that would have to be handled extremely sensitively, to say the least. It's a very challenging problem, but their budget is around $1 billion per year, and they need the skilled people. So, you know, this is there's some incredible dynamics driving the need here. We also have, of course, the Amazon starting their second headquarters in the Washington, D.C. area, again, going to completely overwhelm the supply of computer science graduates and artificial intelligence graduates and machine learning graduates. So all of these sectors need the same sort of people, whether it's healthcare at the moment, whether it's government, whether it's security, NSA, Defense Intelligence Agency, another organization on our advisory board. They're all just clamoring for the graduates who can provide this sort of rare skill. Our particular program, I think, is a nice compact program. It's just 30 credit hours. It can all be taken online, and we're making some kind of exciting changes with that at the moment as well, to include such things as GPU computing, additional coverage of deep neural networks. So these are the sorts of, in addition to some, I think, fairly outstanding content already. So that is literally the exercise of how to close the loop from the opportunities that are there in industry at the moment, and how the MS in computer science can kind of get you there. Bill, feel free to skip over to the next slide. So, firstly, you know, if any people in this audience are interested in the MS in computer science, certainly feel free to email me at this address. Additionally, I'll be giving an hour-long seminar on this topic actually in about a week on Tuesday, November the 17th, midday Eastern time. Let me just, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the URL into the chat. So if anyone interested, you can register there. But essentially, essentially that will be a much more detailed description of that if you're interested to find out about a lot of things that are going on in that space. I'll wrap it up there, Bill, and all. Any questions that people have, any students have questions, feel free to just put them in the chat. Happy to answer now as well.
Perfect, thank you. You were way ahead of me as usual, Dr. Steele, because I'd already intended to mention your webinar as part of the impact of emerging technology on society, and I've thrown it up on the screen, captechu.edu/webinar-series, and it's also right here. His link goes directly to his webinar. 3 of our faculty presenters are actually involved with this series of webinars. Dr. Ron Martin will speak on Tuesday, that's just in 2 days, on stop issuing secure credentials to imposters. Dr. Robert Steele will speak on the role of machine learning, as he just mentioned, and that's on November 17th. And Dr. Linda Martin will speak on November 24th on construction safety advances. So all of these have to do with emerging technology and changes that are coming because of the technology. So I encourage you to go and register for those if you haven't done so already. Now with that, let's go back and complete our remarks. We've moved away from the faculty now, and so I'm going to just talk a little bit more about one academic program and then go into the nuts and bolts of becoming a student at the master's level at Capital Technology University. The MS-PhD combination program is an ideal program if you're coming directly to Capital without a master's degree. If you're coming directly to Capital with only a bachelor's degree and you want to ultimately pursue a PhD. It's a combination degree. You first go through an MS in research methods, and then you move right seamlessly into a PhD in technology. You can enter with any bachelor's degree. you will take a 30 credit MS in research methods, and then you'll 60 credits PhD in technology. This program is done completely online, asynchronously, and at the end of the time, when you have completed your PhD, we will then issue you together the MS with that. So you won't have the MS until you complete the PhD, but you'll be seamlessly moving through the whole process. And if you are interested in that particular degree, let us know. We're more than happy to provide additional information to you on that. Now, let's go and talk about master's degrees. These programs are primarily designed for working adults and are designed to be part-time. Most students can complete their degree in 2 to 4 years. You can go faster, you can go slower, of course, but that's the norm. As we mentioned earlier, there are 3 semesters a year, and in each semester there are 2 terms. So if you took 2 courses per semester, that is 1 per term, you will actually complete a 36 credit program in just 2 years. If the program is slightly longer, it'll take slightly longer. If we have a 30 credit program, such as the computer science degree, it will take less. You should factor in that you'll be spending between 10 to 12 hours of coursework per week per course. And I always like to tell people, are our programs easy? And the answer is absolutely not. They may be flexible, they may be convenient, but they're never easy. And you don't want them to be. We want them to be a top-notch program so that our alumni moving into their new careers or their new positions are well and adequately prepared to handle those positions. So good things never are easy, and that includes our master's degree. Doable, yes. Easy, no. Now, how does it work? Depending on the program, you'll either meet synchronously, that is at the same time each week with a group. It will be virtual. It will be live virtual. So it'll be handled through Zoom, much like we're doing here. Or most of our programs are actually asynchronous, where you work at your own pace and turn in the work at the end of the class week. There are no residency requirements. That is, you do not need to actually come to the campus to take any classes. Most people who live in the area may come to the campus to use the library or something, but most of those facilities are actually online, and you probably may not visit the campus until you graduate. Our faculty will be communicating routinely and regularly with you. You'll always know where you stand. The master's degree programs are highly flexible. You literally can begin in the next 2 months. We offer 6 terms a year, and you can start in any term. You can be apply and accepted and at any time. It's a rolling admissions. You do not have to wait till next fall. You could apply and be starting in the very next term, assuming you are accepted, excuse me. And this is a unique thing about Capital. After you actually complete your application and file it with us, while we're determining whether you're going to be accepted or not, you can actually begin our courses on a provisional status. Here's the tuition and payments. And okay, I see a question from Linda. If we apply now and get accepted, can we start later if we choose? And the answer is yes. You're not obligated to start immediately. You could start when it's convenient to you. The charge is $630 per credit plus fees. There are not a lot of fees, but there are a few. And then if you are an active duty military student, we reduce that to just $350 per credit hour plus fees. And we also give a discount of $100 per credit if you are retired military. As I mentioned earlier, we're a military friendly school, and we work hard to make our veterans and active service members make their education affordable. A thing that is unique to Capital is our Blue Ribbon program. The Blue Ribbon program is basically 3 things bundled into one. One, if you got started in one of our degrees and then for whatever reason you had to stop because you lost your employee sponsorship benefits, we'll only charge you for half of the tuition of the course that you were attending. So that way you will know that even if you finish that course, you'll only pay half the rate. Also, the second part of the Blue Ribbon is if once you finish your first 3 courses, you're eligible for a $500 course discount on your next 3. we're not interested in someone coming and taking a single course with us and then dropping by the wayside. We're interested in people sticking it out and getting their degree from us. And we want to encourage you by get through your first three. We know that you're on a solid footing. We want to reward that by giving you a discount on your next three. And by then you're typically halfway through your master's program or well along the way into it. So now, also, if you recommend to someone, we apply that marketing money that we would have spent to help you and give you a free course. So 3 wonderful benefits of the Blue Ribbon program. Our Office of Financial Aid works diligently and carefully with you to help you qualify for any financial aid that you might be qualified for, typically in the area of loans. But if you're qualified for it, we'll help you to get what you're qualified for. We work closely with employers. The majority of our students, 75%, are coming in with some type of financial sponsorship, and we want to make sure that we work closely with your federal or with your corporate employer to make sure that anything coming to you will come your way. As I mentioned earlier, we work very closely with veterans and with active service members. We have many of them in the Washington, D.C. area, and we will help you receive the benefits that you're entitled to. This goes over the enrollment status. I won't spend a great deal of time, but sometimes people say, what is considered full-time and what is considered part-time? At the graduate level, 6 credits in a semester is considered half-time, and 9 credits in a semester is considered full-time. Based on a term basis, then in a semester, you would need to take 2 courses in one term and 1 course in another term in order to be considered full-time. VA handles it slightly differently. Basically, 3 credits in an 8-week period is considered full-time. So if you are a veteran and applying VA benefits, then you would be receiving your full benefits based on that. Now, I would like to mention, of course, that if you're taking the courses only online, that some of the housing benefits would be reduced. The next steps. Next thing is to apply. The application is free. It's done online. You will need to send your transcripts, a resume, goal statement, and you'll note that there is no GRE or GMAT that is required of you. We have other ways to determine evaluate your effectiveness in these programs. We do not need those to do that. You will need to meet the program specific requirements. That does it for now. I want to go back to see what questions that we have. Lisa says, okay, we've answered that question. Are there any other questions out there from our guests today? Like to answer any questions that you have? Okay, let me just mention a few other things and then we'll be concluded. And if you do have questions, pop them in there. We invite you to join the doctoral virtual information session, which will happen in just about 1 hour. The the web address is here. And I encourage you to take a picture of this screen as I talk. And if you're interested in learning more about our doctoral programs, and of course, there's no obligation to do that. But if you're interested in our PhD programs, here are the the Zoom information session URLs. And again, we are at the conclusion of the presentation, so that if you do have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time. Any questions from the floor?
Bill?
Yes, go ahead.
No, Lisa, I think, had another question, that the $500 off after the 3 course, is it per credit or per course?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I missed that. Whoops. Let's see if we can go back. Thank you so much for alerting me that I'd missed that question. I didn't see it buried there. Once you finish your first 3 courses, you're eligible for a $500 per course discount for your next 3 courses. So to answer the question, it would be the total would be $1,890 for that course, and we will take $500 off of that. So it would be $1,490. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. And you have one more. Go ahead, Lisa. We love these questions.
Maybe she can come off of mute and just ask the question. That might be
Sure, that'd be no. She had said earlier that she's at work and does not have mic capability. So, right. You say we're eligible for the discount. Do we have to apply after we complete the 3 courses? We have Cam Newsom, our Director of Admissions, with us to answer. And Cam, if you can pop on to answer that question.
Absolutely. And thank you for the question, Lisa. Remember, this is part of a Blue Ribbon program. So it's not necessarily the standard way that, a student who's not, coming into contact with one of these situations would really kind of qualify for. However, if you do qualify for either part of the Blue Ribbon program, what you would want to do is get in contact with the business office. It wouldn't be something that you would necessarily have to do some really long, application process the same way you would to get into the program, but you do want to contact the business office.
Thank you, Cam. I appreciate that. Any other questions from anyone else? I don't want to drag this out here, and we're over time. We're now at 2:06, so we'll go ahead and stop at this point unless I see any questions that are popping. The session is being recorded, and the admissions office will be sending a link to everyone who registered for it today. I'd like to thank each of our faculty presenters, and again, I'm going to go back. If you are also interested in the PhD level, for any reason, even for now or for the future, this is the email, the URL that you need. And that's a little lengthy to memorize, so I encourage people to take a picture of it with their camera, and that way feel free to log in. With that, we will officially conclude at this time. I'd like to thank everybody who joined us, and you may log out. It's been great to have each one of you there. And again, thank you to our faculty presenters.